Hey guys, it's Joe. If you know me at all, then you know that I tend to level alts. I had 30 level 90s by the end of Mista Pandaria, and in Draenor I'm pushing more up to 100. I'm of course using the heirlooms and everything, any advantage I can get to level as fast as possible. I'm using some speed leveling guides on the Alliance side by a user named Polly over on YouTube. I'll link those videos down below. They have been a great help. And with those in mind, I've really wanted to continue to find the most efficient way to level. One sticking point for me in my leveling has been that I have to continually do the Tanaan jungle starting experience. Not only do I feel it's not the most efficient way to level, but it's obviously completely tedious once you've already done it once. It's great story-wise and everything, but when you're leveling your 18th alt, who really cares about the Tanaan jungle starting experience? Keeping all that in mind, recently I saw an article over at Blizzard Watch, which is the same folks that brought you WoW Insider, about how you could skip the Tanaan jungle starting experience. With this new information and of course the speed leveling guides, I started to wonder which would be faster. In the same time frame that it takes to do Tanaan and the same amount of XP you get from that, would it be faster to do it as skipping it? So, for science, I decided to do some experiments on my own. Before we make the comparisons and look at the numbers, let's show you how we're going to get to Draenor and avoid going through Tanaan. Of all places, we are going back to Pandaria. Yes, we are going to the Timeless Isle. Off the coast where the frogs are, just under the water, there is a cave. We've seen this before, we knew it was there, but we didn't know what it was for. Now, of course, with Warlords of Draenor, we know why it's there and what it does. Inside, you will find a set of 4 chairs and a campfire just sitting there. Now you can't interact with the fire at all until you sit down in one of the chairs. Once you sit down in one of the chairs, it becomes interactive. You can go ahead and click on it and boom, of all places, you get ported to Gorgrond. Not to a starting zone of either Alliance or Horde, but Gorgrond. Now, the question is, at level 90, what are you doing in Gorgrond? What are you going to do? How are you going to get to where you need to go? Well, first off, the key is you're going to need some water walking. Whether you're a shaman or a warlock with a glyph, whatever it is, you're going to have to get across this water. So, before you even attempt to go out to the Timeless Isle and all that, buy yourself some water walking potion if you do not have some already. Now bear in mind, whether it's the new fancy kind or old school kind, whatever it is, whatever's cheapest is all you need. As long as it gets you across water, it does not really matter. Now, I always jump on the left side because the right side there is a fish of some sort that is a higher level than you. Of course, it is Gorgon. So I always jump off to the left and then go that way. You shouldn't be attacked by anything. It is Gorgon though, so just be careful. You are only level 90, so just kind of keep an eye out. But once you get around the area here in Gorgon, there's going to be a little opening, which is the Iron Docks. Basically what you saw in the dungeon, but out in the world. And you're going to have 2 different flight paths over there. One for Horde and one for Alliance. Now if you go ahead and hug to the left-hand side, you're going to end up on the Horde one. And if you go to the right, you'll end up with the Alliance. Now, the kicker is, of course, you have no flight points. Of course, in Draenor, you just got here. And of course, there is no garrison yet. You haven't set one up yet. But the good thing about these flight paths is they actually just take you to your garrison. Now that just means it takes you where your garrison's going to be. It drops you off in that location. Literally drops you off in the middle of mobs in that location. So you have to be prepared to kind of take off as soon as you get there. Or you might be doing a corpse run. All you have to do is then head to where your starting quest is for your individual factions starting area. And you're off on your way to leveling out in Draenor from level 90 from the very beginning, with skipping Tanaan altogether. Now, to know whether skipping Tanaan is an advantage or not, we have to know what the base numbers for doing Tanaan jungle are. Basically, if you take a character that has full heirlooms and rested straight out of 90 with 0% XP, you run them through Tanaan, you're looking at about a 35-minute run. Now, of course, that is varied depending on how fast you go and everything else. There's going to be variables. That is the number that on average I got over multiple characters. Now also within that 35 minutes you go from 0% to 78%, which is approximately 610,000 XP into level 90. Now again, that can vary a little bit here and there. For the most part, that is the number. Certainly, those are the numbers that I came up with over, again, multiple characters. Now let's take a look at seeing what it takes to get that same 78% and that same 610,000 XP by skipping Tanaan. Now, Full disclosure, this was done only on Alliance side. I did not test this on Horde side. I can only assume that the numbers are going to be similar, but being that the questing and everything is different, it may be a little bit different on Horde side, so I apologize for not being completely thorough. But if you want to check that out for yourself and give me the numbers back in the comments or something like that, that would be fabulous. But for the sake of this experiment, it was done Alliance side specifically. Getting that same 78%, that same 610,000 XP was done in 20 minutes by skipping Tanaan and doing poly speed leveling guides. Now let's look a little bit closer at those numbers. For that 35 minutes in Tanaan, you're getting about 2.25% of a level per minute, whereas in the 20 minutes out in Draenor, you're getting 3.94% of a level per minute. Again, these are all based on the experiment that I did. Numbers can vary, but the other thing to keep in mind is you're going to have travel time to skip Tanaan, whereas of course Tanaan you port right there. So you have the flight to get to Timeless Isle, you have the water run to go to the Iron Docks, and then you've got the flight from the Iron Docks to your starting zone. So there is all that to keep in mind, and pretty much once that's all done, it negates that 15 minutes for the most part. But I don't really count that for myself personally. It's all about when you're actually doing the leveling and comparing that actual questing to questing, because I can AFK during a flight path. It's not a big deal. I could do laundry or something. So I don't really consider that. But if you want to factor that in, keep in mind that is something that you will have to deal with, of course, by skipping Tanaan. So all this is completely up to you guys. All this is just information that I'm giving you guys. It's up to you how you want to do it, and if it's worth it to you, or if you want to just try something different, I encourage you to do that just for the heck of it. And you report back your findings. Let me know what you found out. Let me know if you made a better time. Let me know if you ran into some hang up or something. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of information in this video. Hopefully you got something out of it, whether it's just how to skip Tanaan in general, or, you know, knowing a little bit of some experimentation anyway, as to what the difference is between doing Tanaan and skipping Tanaan. Thank you very much for your time. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, you know, thumbs up, and, you know, leave a comment below. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my other videos. I appreciate it very much. You guys have a good day, and take care now. Bye-bye.